Okay, I believe we are live now. Let me share the screen. So now pick it up from.
Sure. Thank you very much, Nat. So this is the Cardano Governance Forum organized by the African Institute for DeFi and Blockchain. You can just call us the 8 block. And also, this is our second meeting. Last 2 weeks, we had our launch. We officially launched the Cardano Governance Forum. And the main objective, or the primary objective, is to foster a deeper understanding of Cardano blockchain governance mechanism and to facilitate an open dialogue on how we as community can contribute and strengthen decentralization. Today, we have 3 topics to handle. The first one is educating and increasing governance participation on Cardano blockchain, which will be done by our very own Nat. And the second presentation will be on the role of developers in decentralized decision-making process in Cardano, which will be done by our guest speaker, Emmanuel Titi from Lido Nation. And we'll just have a brief discussion on what's happening, just something small about Project Catalyst, something new that's happening, or an update on Project Catalyst. So we won't take much of your time. So we are going straight into the presentations, and I call on Nat to give us a presentation on educating and increasing governance participation on Cardano blockchain. Nat, you can take over.
Thank you very much, Pedro. I also take this opportunity to welcome everybody who has been able to join the Cardano Governance Forum. Taking us on the first topic, that's governance participation. We've heard of the newest phase of Cardano, which we call the Voltaire era. We have spoken so much about governance, and so today I have the opportunity to take us through that. The topic, as was mentioned, educating and increasing governance participation on Cardano blockchain. I have been an active member in the Cardano ecosystem since Fund 7, and we are still gelling till now. When the Voltaire era was launched, the key component was on governance. Now, when we talk of governance in Cardano, it's a decentralized system that allows the community to have control over the blockchain. It operates through framework called Voltaire, which emphasizes on community participation, transparency, and accountability. So when the Voltaire era was launched, there were 3 key institutions that were very important in the Cardano ecosystem, which was the Constitutional Committee. They were tasked to come up with the Constitution, the Cardano Constitution. And when the Cardano Constitution was formulated, it went through various phases, including workshop around the world for everybody to make input before it was finally promulgated at the Cardano workshop at Buenos Aires, I think somewhere last year. So that one has been done, and the Cardano committee asked and make sure that everything that is happening in the ecosystem is following the constitutional guardrails. Then we have the stake pool operators. These are entities that run on Cardano nodes, so they confirm transactions, and with the new system, they are able to vote to make changes and also represent the network operational backbone. So in terms of transactions and whatnot, every transaction that has been validated on Cardano blockchain is the stake pool operators that are working on those things. But now they have become part of governance because they are also able to participate in governance decision and also vote as well. Then we have the delegated representative, as well, for short we call DREPs. This where members are allowed to create a DREP or delegate their ADA to a DREP for them to hold and then vote on their behalf, particularly on governance proposals. So ADA holders can delegate their voting power to DREP or directly vote. So either you are voting directly, but because of the nature of the process, they having to review it and whatnot. So it's advised that you allow the DREPs to do the research and then vote on your behalf. So if you have not delegated your stake, try and then delegate. Now, what's the governance process like? We have the CIP, where proposals for protocol change or upgrade are submitted by community members or developers. I think with this, the caveat was around 100,000 ADA for you to be able to submit a governance action proposal. And when you submit it, we discuss it, it is defined and then is voted on. Then we have the voting phase where ADA holders, DREPs, and then SPOs, which is the stake pool operators, participate in voting on the kind of parameters or the changes that you want to bring to the ecosystem based on the governance proposal. And they also vote to allocate treasury funds. And also the voting is proportional to your ADA. I think one ADA gives one voting power. Then we have the treasury, which is a decentralized fund that supports the ecosystem project. The funds are also, in terms of how it's going to be distributed, it's being affected by governance decision. So if a governance decision says the funds, this much of the funds should be distributed, then that will be complied with. So that is that when it comes to the Cardano governance processes. Now, what are the features the Cardano governance comes with? The first one is on-chain voting. So everything with respect to Cardano governance is on-chain. There is nothing off-chain. Every process, everything is on the blockchain. That is so it gives high documentation. You can easily follow, very transparent and also immutable. So everybody can participate in it as well. Then we have delegation where ADA holders are empowered to either create DREP or delegate their vote to DREP so that they can participate in decision making or their impact in decision making can be strong. Then we also formulated what we call the Cardano constitution, which I mentioned that it was developed through a lot of engagement. And in Ghana here, we were able to hold our constitutional workshop through WADA. And so we were able to, Ghanaians were also able to participate. It was a highly decentralized process. Then we have guardrail mechanisms that the constitution committees and multiple voting threshold prevent malicious or poorly thought out changes. So they are it's not like the very fact that the community have been given the power to control the blockchain does not mean that any malicious act can go through just because of the community having ownership. There are certain guardrails that if your proposals are coming through, there are certain thresholds that must be met. Like you need about 10,000 ADA and whatnot to 100,000 ADA to be able to submit a proposal in the first place. So if you have that much of ADA and you want to be a bad actor, you have to ask yourself why, because being a bad actor with such a caveat is not rewarding. You get it. So there is little incentive for you to be a bad actor on the blockchain. Now, recent developments, we've come far from the hard fork changes that was done somewhere last year. And now we have what we call the community engagement. What we are doing here is also part of it. We are also contributing to the community engagement, taking the whole process from what we had from the constitutional workshops. And today we are having governance for where we are discussing governance and the things that are happening in the ecosystem. Then we have Intercept committee. We'll talk about Intercept proper. That's if you are participating in the governance where you start. Intercept is a platform that you can start off as a governance member. So with Intercept, it has a lot of committees. And in recent time, there was a voting that will allow people to participate in the various committees. Unfortunately, I applied for the civic committee. I wasn't able to get the opportunity to serve as a civic committee member. So maybe hopefully next year I will reapply. And so it gives every member opportunity to join and then bring your specialities on any of the committees that will help you. We have the product committee, we have the budget committee, we have the marketing committee, we have the membership committee, a whole lot of committees that you can serve on so far as you are participating in governance. Then the newest governance proposal that is latest on the blockchain or on the governance processes is the net change, the net change limit. Sorry for the wrong spelling. The net change limit, which is the minimum amount of money that the threshold should allocate for fund 14 and beyond. So people are proposing 250 million ADA, others are saying 300 million ADA. And so if you have not delegated your ADA, this is the time for you to delegate your ADA so that the D-reps can also vote on the net change limits that will allow for Fund 14 to also kickstart. So that is what I will say for now in respect of governance. If there are any questions, when there's time for question, I'll be available to answer that. So with respect to governance, okay. So now I mentioned that if you are participating as well, how do you start off with your participation? So participating in governance, Interset comes in. Interset is the platform where you are able to become a member and then participate in actions. So if you look at Interset, you can just, it's intersetmbo.org. No, it's .com. Sorry, intersetmbo.com. You can join and then apply to become a member. So why Interset? It's a natural point, as a natural aggregation point, a Cardano town square. Interset allows for those firms and organizations making the most significant contribution to the ecosystem to raise and elevate their voice on how Cardano's technological underpinning can and should evolve. So you need to, if governance is of concern, you need to really sign up on Intercept and be able to join any of the committees, join the committee town halls, and then bring your contributions any way that you is possible for you, because Cardano, one thing I like about Cardano is that it welcomes any skill from different diverse backgrounds. So it's very important. Now, when it comes to the membership categories, for now, let me talk about just these three. We have the associate membership, which costs nothing to become an associate member. So you just go to the Interset platform, you just click on join, you sign up with your email, and then you are an associate member. This one comes with joining Interset working group. You are able to join Interset town hall. You have access to internet Discord. You have the latest, you also get the latest update from Interset and then in your inbox. And then you can also contribute to open Cardano open source repositories. Then if you are an individual member, for the individual member, it costs $10 per year. So it's an annum, per annum, okay? So if you pay $10 for the whole year, you get to be an individual member. Now, with this, it comes with all the benefit that is associated with the associate member. However, you are able to have voting rights. So when it comes to decisions on the certain decisions in terms of membership on Interset committees, you are able to vote, okay? And also you have annual meetings as well. And then you also contribute fully in committees and working groups. You are also eligible to be nominated. So you can also stand to be elected on any of the committee or the governing boards. And then you can also apply for grants. You can also apply for grants. And then you also have access to Interset events. So you have early bird access to Interset event. This one is also for an enterprise member. Okay, enterprise member. This one comes with a cost of $1,000. This one, I think we are looking at existing enterprises, and you enjoy all the benefits, and you also get to early visibility of Cardano technical backlog, access large funding opportunities for the firm, and then you also have access to present and annual members meeting, and then you have what profile in annual report, and then profile in Interset on Interset website. So these are some of the things that the membership comes with. So it's very important that you are able to join. If you are hearing of this for the very first time and you are not a member of the Interset, that is where the governance starts. So you should be a member of Interset platform so that you'll be able to participate in governance, be able to vote, and also stand for any election for the various committee members, committees that we have on the Interset platform. So I'll leave it here. When it's time for questions and answers, I'll come in again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nat. I think we can do some 5 minutes questions, then we move on to the next speaker. So please, the floor is open for any question. If you don't understand any part, if there is anything you want clarification on, or you want to add something to his presentation, the floor is open now. Now, before someone comes in, I wanted to find out the committees, the various committees. How long can you serve on it before you are voted for again?
Okay, so you serve on it for a year. You serve on it for a year, and then you are voted again.
Okay, so for every year, there is a new
So
election.
every year there's going to be a new election, and some committee has about 5 seats, others have 6 seats, others have, depending on the committee, there are a number of people who constitute the committee, and so depending on the committee that you want to join, the number of seats that are up for election. So maybe let's say for instance, the one that I participated, it was the civic committee, and on the committee we have almost about 6 seats. In all, we are about, I think 11 people stood for the election, and six people were able to. So the first 6 joined the committee. So that's how it goes in that order.
Okay, and again, is there any rule to it? Maybe your tenure of office, is it that you can just do 2 years and that's it, or you can just go as long as
No, you just do 1 year, and then we'll be voted again. So if you want to stand again, you can just add yourself for the upcoming election. You can stand for it again.
Oh, okay.
But then if you want to also go and join a different committee, you are also obliged to stand for the election for a different committee. And like I mentioned, we have even we have an open source committee, we have a product committee, we have membership committee, budget committee, every committee and their specialization. We have the technical support committees and whatnot. So every committee and the kind of thing that they are specialized on doing.
Okay, so is there any situation whereby one person can be on marketing and survey committee at the same time?
Yeah, you are allowed to stand for election on various committees. However, it's up to the committee to vote for you on the 2 committee seats. Yeah, so if you, at the end of the election, if you are voted for membership and then civic, then it means you are doing both.
Okay.
But if you are not voted for any, that's how it works.
Okay, sure. So please, the floor is still open. You can ask your questions, or you can add anything, or if you have any clarification you want to clarify, you can ask him so now you can.
All right. Nats, this is Edward. I have a question. So, and want to join a committee, is there any process laid out to join a committee?
Yeah, first of all, you need to be a member of Intercept. And so let me see if I can get the Intercept website link, and then let me just drop it on in the chats for those who are on the call. Okay, so let me come to the chats and just drop that. So that's the link to the Intercept platform. Once you go there, just go to membership and sign up. Okay, when you sign up, you join the Intercept membership, or you join the Intercept platform. So after signing up, you can work on your profile and everything, put your social media links and everything, make your profile very nice. Now, after that, you see that there are town hall meetings. You get notification on those stuff. You'll be getting email invitations. So once it comes up on various committees and whatever everybody is doing in the committee. So, and then the Intercept, you can join as an associate member where you don't pay anything, which comes with limited benefit as well. So let me if I can share the slides again. Where is it? Yeah. Good. If I can share, this is it. So if you can join as an associate member, which doesn't come. So if you're an associate member, it means you cannot stand for election to any committee, and you cannot vote for who gets on the committee. The only person who has voting right is the individual member and also the enterprise. So if you want to vote for who gets on the committee, you should be able to pay the $10 a year. Okay, and then if not, you won't get voting right. And if you don't have voting right, it means you can also stand for the election as well. So it's very important that as we join as associates, as time goes on, we upgrade to the individual member, so that you'll be able to have voting rights. It's very key, because when elections are approaching and you are trying to pay, you may not get the opportunity to participate because elections are approaching. So if you want to pay, just pay much early, and then you know that you are part of it. But if you wait and then election is due and then you are trying to pay, sometimes they put a caveat on it that nobody is being accepted as an individual member. Or even if you pay because election is coming so close and you are paying for individual member, maybe you can pay all right by your membership because you are just joining an individual membership. You won't be allowed to participate in the current or the immediate election, but unless the next one you get it to have, so that people don't also engage in vote buying. Like, let's say, because election is due, they are trying to pay a lot of people to become members and then vote at the same time. So that is why some of these guardrails are there to prevent some of these situations.
All right, nice. No, thank you. However, like I'm saying, I've been a member since like last year, October. If you want to join a group,
you are an associate member.
No, individual member.
Oh, okay, great.
Since last year, yeah. If you want to join, is it the benefits where you can join the groups? That's where you can join, or you have to apply.
No, you see, we have a lot of benefits, including you have the opportunity to even apply for grants.
Yes.
Okay, as an individual member, you can submit your own grant on governance, and then it will be looked at. So that's the sort of benefit that comes to you as an individual member. Okay, aside standing for election and also getting the opportunity to vote on who joins whatever committee. Okay. So these are some of the benefits. And also you are also allowed to participate in the committee town hall meetings. So you can also join to share ideas with them on any agenda that is on board. Okay.
So until you are voted for,
that's the benefit, right? That can. No, until you are voted for, you cannot join the committee. However, you can join the committee as what do you call it? Let me use the right word on this one.
Non-voting subject matter.
So you said you join the working. Yeah, you can join as you are just a volunteer on the group. There's that possibility.
Okay.
But that one you are not voted for. You just participate in the community, in the committee's activity, including meetings and whatnot. But that one you are not having a board seat on the committee. So let's say if it comes to maybe paying the board seat members for working on the committee, you may not be paid because you are just a volunteer.
Yeah, okay.
That joins the board to just know about their opportunity. But participating in such stuff also gives you some sort of leverage for you to get the opportunity to be elected on in the future. Something like that.
Okay, sure. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, sure. So I've seen a chat. Okay, so that's fine. So are there any other questions for Nat before he?
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
I'm not. Are there exclusive benefits for being voted on to be a committee member? In other words, are there rewards given to
committee members? There are no rewards for committee members. These are the benefits. For now, the committee members, okay, I think we've not voted on it as to whether committee members should be paid or not, but it is something that is worth considering. So people have submitted various proposals with respect to that. So if it gets approved that intersect committee members are going to be paid, for now, most of them who are working there are doing voluntary work. However, the kind of thing that they are doing, if it requires funding, there's a budget for the work that they are doing for if it requires certain costs. But in terms of remuneration, that is what for now the budget is not cover benefit that you can get to just to contribute on the committee, to contribute on the committees that are existing. And also you have the opportunity to also apply for grants, because if you're not an individual member, you can't apply for grants. Okay. Right. I hope I've answered.
Yeah, you said that if you are not an individual member, you can apply for grants on governance, right?
Yes, you can apply for grants. This grant pertains to governance, like maybe you want to do something to promote anything with respect to Cardano governance. But if this grant is different from Project Catalyst. Okay, we'll talk about the catalyst later on this call, but this one is respect to governance.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Bright. Any other question before we move to our next speaker? Okay, so I think we should move next. We should move to our next speaker. And so our next presentation is on the topic, the role of developers in decentralized decision-making processes in Cardano. And it will be done by Mr. Emmanuel Titi from Lido Nation. Emmanuel, you can take over from here, please.
Emmanuel, do you have a slide that you want to share, or you are cool?
Actually, no. Creature
Okay.
of habit. I had started a document. That's it's habitual. That's what I usually do when I had a task. I forgot that people use slides. And
okay, then take it from here. We'll just maintain the screen. Whatever.
okay. Maybe I can just share the doc that I'm reading from. Just points I jotted down. The entire screen. Oh, I have to do the settings thing. Okay, I'll just continue. Hopefully, I have to go to the settings, so that will take time. Okay, I'll just start from, yeah, so as I was thinking about the role of developers in Cardano or in governance, I think for developers that their role isn't that specified in governance, but I'll try as much as possible to sort of show you how, as a developer, you can actively contribute to governance, not just voting on proposals or voting on the budget proposals. There's also some sort of DREP that would come in Fund 14, I think, where you can also delegate your voting power to a catalyst DREP. Not sure what they would call it, but the same DREP format that is on the budget proposals, I think they're going to do the same thing on catalyst proposals. So it's an idea that is around, but it's something that is also coming in the pipeline. So I'm going to try and sort of pair our role as developers to the governance or to the decentralized contribution system that Cardano is investing heavily in. So as developers, our main role in Cardano is basically building. We are like the architects of the blockchain. So we work on the tech, the actual tech, work on projects that are required, on tools that are required to build on Cardano. And we play a very pivotal role because as you know, in blockchain, tech is basically the midst of the whole thing. Community and products and advertisement, they are sort of important things that come later, but at the ground level, developers are the most important part of that puzzle. So our role in governance, I'd start by saying, as developers, we have to be very involved in the tools that are being built in the ecosystem. One of the ways that we'd want to do that is in contributing in the tools that are being used, especially the libraries. So you'd want to sort of be part or take part or give your input in some of the tools that are being built on the network. To, of course, contribute to the overall state of the technology that we have, and to add your ideas on different products or different libraries that the developers interact with on building decentralized applications, on building smart contracts, and on building tools. So some of the ways you contribute, as you've had being mentioned before, contributing in open source. That is actually your particular role as a community member, being a developer. We need more developers to contribute to the different tools that are being built. And, you know, if we have less people contributing to it, would mean that we are not inventing or pushing forward the technologies that we have. Some of the technologies would include Bluetooth. There's a whole repository that is being maintained by Cardano members. We have Icon, which is a more recent programming language for writing smart contracts. There's a lot of things that developers still need to contribute to. If you go to the Icon repository, there's a bunch of issues. That is one of the ways I sort of try and figure out what to contribute to. So to start contributing to repositories, of course, the best way would be to go look at the issues that are on the GitHub repos, just to try and see what you can solve and help in the community. That is one way of contributing to open source. The other way would be, I think this has also been mentioned before, Intersect. So Intersect has various committees that are involved in different things. There's one for community, the civics committee, there's one for marketing. There's also one that is aimed at open source, which I think as the developers, that's where most of us would fall under. So Intersect Open Source Committee has different roles or many roles that are aimed at maintaining, documenting tools that people, that developers are using in the ecosystem. So one way you can be a member of the open source committee is through the elections. There's also another way to take part in open source Intersect committees. You can be a working member. So what this entails, you will be aiding in some of the works that I've just mentioned. So there's a lot of things that we need that are being documented by Intersect. There's a lot of repositories that they're maintaining for the ecosystem. And there are opportunities for actually developers to join. So there's this thing called Developer Advocate Program. Let me just try to paste it here to show you ways you can join Intersect and maybe participate. If I can find where to paste it. Oh, in the charts here. Okay. So you can click this link. It will take you to some of the things that Intersect is trying to do, or maybe trying to recruit developers to come and try to help maintain the tools that we're using every day in the blockchain. So Open Source Committee has a program where they are sort of training developers who would in the future be in charge of maintaining some of the open source repositories that we have. There's also, in the proposals that have been mentioned, they're considering adding a payment plan just to incentivize developers who are participating in maintaining these repos. So I think this would be a best bet for you as a developer to try and just chime in and put your vote forward or your ideas forward on how the future of the tools on Cardano should go. That's the second one. So we have open source committee, and we have individual repositories that you can contribute to. The next point I'm going to talk about is real-world problems. So our role as developers also would be to try and integrate world problems to actually connect them to the tools that we have on Cardano, trying to solve world problems with those tools. So this is more of a general thing, not specifically concerned with governance, but I feel like it's an important step to trying and growing the Cardano ecosystem. So it's our role to sort of try and find how best to use Cardano for different use cases. As you know, we're still in the early stages of the blockchain. So we are still trying to figure out how this very magnificent tool would sort of integrate with actual people living normal lives out there. So it's our role as developers to try as much as possible to match the tools that we have to actual problems. And this, of course, would mean that we'd have more to do. The blockchain future will be brighter. So this is also one of the points that I wanted to emphasize on. The last thing I would want to talk about would be how to actually start your developer journey in Cardano. So there are different platforms. Let me paste these links here that I think will be important for you starting out as a developer. We have different learning platforms that have been funded in Project Catalyst, and just normal people trying to provide resources for people to learn and start their journey into the blockchain. So here are the several links. We have Emmanuel, which actually is a product that is heavily built for the blockchain. So they're trying to make education actually live on the blockchain. We have Gimbal Labs that provide different things, different topics, programming, smart contracts, building D apps. So Gimbal Labs is the best bet for you. We have the Cardano Foundation, which is where I think all developers would start. This is where you find the list of different things that as a developer you would need, the resources to different packages, the resources to the actual node, starting a node when you want to run a stake pool. That's where you'd find those documentation. So Cardano Foundation is actually the central place to find all the things you need to sort of learn and just start actually getting into the midst of development in Cardano.
Great.
Yeah, so I think that's all I have for today. If anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentation, Emmanuel. So it's time for questions again, and if you have any question for Emmanuel, the floor is yours.
Okay, Emmanuel, I wanted to throw light on the resources that you have shared with respect to starting your journey as a developer. I'm sure some people are on this call, they have some IT background, and also break the ice whether if you necessarily need an IT background to really become a developer in the blockchain.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do yet, but the best place I would suggest to start learning about Cardano would be I think I added the link here. If I didn't, let's see, Cardano developers. Okay, I don't think I added it. There's this link. So you can get the Cardano Associate Certificate. This will give you like it's not technical, so that certificate is not a technical course yet, but it gives you like a very broad introduction into what Cardano is about. It will start on the lower level, the Ouroboros, the different protocols that we're using for consensus, the different protocols that exist on other blockchain. It sort of shows you how different Cardano is from other blockchains, the advantages that Cardano has over other blockchains. So I think that course is the best place to start. I think I pasted it here. Let me just paste this. So if you want to start, I'd first want you to do this, to give you like the, what's the word?
Some sort of theoretical underpinning.
Yes, theoretical, that's the word. Theoretical learning about the blockchain. The theory first. You have to get the theory, understand the why, then the how would make more sense. So once you get to learn the why Cardano is important, why we are not building like Bitcoin, why we are sort of trying to make it environmental friendly and all that, the how now becomes much easier. You know how to, once you know what a stake pool is, you'd know how to start maybe running your own stake pool. It's something that you can, it's actually a very simple thing, running a stake pool in Cardano, despite the amount of money that you'd need to start. But on the technical bit, it's quite easy to start your own stake pool. These are some of the benefits. So once you know the why, you can go now to the Cardano Foundation and just get into the technical bit of it. And it's currently there are people, so if you are particularly say you only know JavaScript, Cardano now it's becoming more broad. So we have more builders trying to custom make the different things that we have on Cardano to different programming languages. So if you are coming with a Python background, there are some people who are replicating the things that were written in Plutus and whatnot. They're trying to replicate them to Python. If you're coming from Java, there's a lot of things that people are doing to just make sure they cater for people coming in from Java. Rust is the new thing that I've been seeing around. People are trying to replicate the node, actually, the node infrastructure in Rust. So yeah, I think Cardano is very welcoming when you're a new developer.
Okay. The floor is still open for questions for Emmanuel. Sure, so I think everyone is good. So thank you very much, Emmanuel. And I would thank you very much, Emmanuel, again. I would like to acknowledge our viewers on X and YouTube. Aside here, we have people joining on X and YouTube. Shout outs to everyone joining, and we thank you very much for joining us. So the next agenda, it will be a discussion. It won't be a presentation about the latest news on Project Catalyst. So I think yesterday, So about yesterday, they paid some people. I don't know if anyone here were part of the group of people that were paid yesterday due to their proof of address. I don't know if anyone here is part of the group that were paid yesterday. But I mean, people are finding difficulty in proving their proof of address, which this is peculiar to people in Africa, especially people in Ethiopia. I think it's very difficult to prove your address. So, sure. Emmanuel Yeboah.
So let me give the update on other stuffs, and then with respect to the Farm 14 that is also coming, and then we'll come and talk about the delayed reward and how they should go about it, so that we leave the spotlight, and then we'll come and do that discussion at the last end. So the first one, as I mentioned earlier, the net change limit. There's currently voting ongoing, and so if you have not delegated your ADA, try as much as possible to delegate your ADA to any DREP. Delegate your ADA to any DREP so that they can vote on the net change limits. And that is what will approve the budget and set for Fund 14 for us. So do that. Very, very important. When you go to your UI wallet, you can go to governance. I think the first meeting I showed how to do that in the, what wallet was that? Forgotten this wallet. We have the UI, Eternal wallet. Yes, the one that we do it on the web browser. Eternal wallet. So in your UI wallet, you can just click on setting. You see governance, click on governance. They'll ask you for DREP ID. You just enter the DREP ID and then you delegate. And then the DREP will cast the vote for you. Now, the next other thing that is coming is the quadratic voting. So with respect to Fund 14, they are trying to implement what we call quadratic voting, where the voting power, those of us who have voted on the catalyst before, your voting power will be squared by 2. So the quadratic voting, the reason why they are implementing it, that they said that it will improve the effectiveness of blockchain governance, and also increase the threshold, so that it will not be as if few people who have higher voting power are being influential when it comes to voting, and it will help maintain fairness and whatnot. So with respect to the quadratic voting, they have 3 levels. They have the type 1, where you will delegate your power, and then the square root will be at the end of the delegation. Or they have the second type, where your voting power will be square rooted before you delegate. So it comes with different models and modalities. So when it becomes clearer, or maybe if you want more conversation on it, I think there's a group that made a presentation on that. We can also contact them, that they can join us in one of these governance forums, so that they can share more light on it and how important and significant it is, so far as Project Catalyst is of concern. So the final one, which is why some of the reward have delayed. I think the first one, I need to talk about the 80% threshold for the reviewers, and also the manual verification process, which has to do with our address system. So I'll leave it again to Kwejo, so that we go to them in the forum, and then we share ideas about those who have been able to do it. You tell us how you're able to do it for your payment to come, so that others will also learn from it. So thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you very much, Nat. So as said earlier, Nat, but before we continue, someone wanted to know how you delegate your this one to the DREPs, and how much data you need to take. I don't know if you plan for this, but some of us couldn't join in the first meeting. So is there any way you can take us through that? If that's okay with you, you will need time.
I'll need some time. Let me see if I can get the wallet that I was able to open for the last meeting.
Okay, so as you are preparing, let's discuss the reasons why some funds were delayed. So I don't know, Emmanuel, is there any way you can tell us what you did to receive your funds this time? Because I know a lot of people are actually frustrated right now because of the proof of address.
Please, good evening. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So I just requested a ticket about my POE. So I waited for almost 1 month. Then they sent me an email requesting me that I use this document affidavit, and they said that my affidavit is more than 3 months, so I should go and issue another document affidavit. So I did that and sent an email to them. And 3 days later, they replied that the document that I sent, I shouldn't send it as a PDF, but I should just screenshot it so that all the 4 edges of the document, we should not send it as a PDF, but just send it as a picture. So when I did that, they sent me a day later. They sent me a verification email that I've been verified. Then I got paid. I just got paid yesterday. So that was
okay. But you know, some of us we use affidavits, we use so many documents, but still, so what they wanted to do on the document was basically your name, the address, and once again, I think there's some other things too. So they specify in the document what exactly they need, and also some people don't know where to maybe send their request to. Is there any way you can help us with the link you sent a request to, Emmanuel?
it was just a ticket. So I followed the Cardano Telegram page, so I got to know about a link where you can send a ticket. So that's where I got to know it was a link. I don't know if it's still available there, but you can find it on your Telegram page. It was a link so that you can issue a ticket.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much. Nat, are you ready now?
No, I think I'm supposed to log in my wallet from scratch. So
okay,
it may take some time, but
sure. So I think we can do it in our next meeting. So I mean, those of us who want to really learn about this, I would really advise we join our next meeting. That will be on the that will be on the 30th of May. So we meet Cardano Governance Forum. We meet every 2 weeks. So in our next presentation, we can do that presentation for everyone to appreciate how to delegate this one to the DREPs, if that's fine.
And then let me add that the first meeting is also live on our YouTube. So if anyone can just check on the first events, the first launching, the clip is there. Maybe I can take a screenshot on where the delegation part was, and then I'll share on our Twitter for people to check it out later on. But then, like I've mentioned, next week we can look at it and do a full round education on it from the URI and also the Eternal wallet. It's actually straightforward. If you just open the wallet, you can get it done. But we'll do one on the screen so that we can all see and then get it done.
Yeah. So Nat, before we go, yesterday or Wednesday on the town hall meeting, it was focused on the voting mechanisms, and I think you rightly said quadratic voting. Can you just take us through why they are moving from 1 ADA to 25 ADA per vote to now quadratic? And I think they also mentioned the time-weighted stake. And I think Emmanuel mentioned something like whereby you can now delegate your voting power to someone else, which they named it as liquid democracy.
Liquid democracy.
Yes. So can you tell us why they are moving from having a minimum balance of 500 ADA to 25 ADA, and now they are saying quadratic voting? Like the rationale for...
Okay. Yeah, the simple answer will be that they want to have more participation. Okay. And then they also want it to be highly decentralized and equally represented. So with the, the voting power, one ADA is one voting power. So it kind of allow for those who have more ADA to be more influential in the blockchain. Okay, when it comes to voting, those who have more ADA, if someone has 1 million ADA and then you have, let's say 25 ADA, definitely if the 1 million ADA vote on something, it makes it more influential than you with the 25 ADA. So in order to diffuse those things and then make it more decentralized and then more proportional and make other smaller voices to be heard, that is why the opportunity for delegating is also coming in there, where because we already do delegation, but with respect to governance, but now they are bringing the same mechanism to Project Catalyst, so that Project Catalyst voting can also be in the form of delegated representation, where we talk of the liquid democracy, where you can delegate your 25 ADA to somebody. So maybe if 1,000 people have 25 ADA, this will become 25,000. So if all of them delegate it to one stake pool, becomes 25,000, and then that one becomes more like forceful, or that voice become more louder as compared to just 25 ADA. So that's one opportunity. And then the quadratic voting mechanism is also giving that kind of distributing the influence, so that the people with 1 million will not get all the power to be able to influence voting. But with the quadratic voting, I think with the mechanism, it's with the square root thing that is coming in, it will kind of be influence. So that basically that is why. But with respect to understanding the quadratic voting, they explain three mechanisms. I don't know which one the community is going to use. They talked about three types, and I even talked. Yeah, you let me not share that. So they talk about three mechanisms, and that's what I was trying to. They had three types. The first one, where your stake will be multiplied before you delegate, and then the others, they look at you delegate before it will get the square root thing. Then some you vote before the square root effects will come in. So it's a whole process. That's why I'm saying that we in our next forum, we can make efforts to bring those who presented on it to come and explain more about the quadratic voting. But one thing about Cardano blockchain is for sure that I like is that before they bring any new thing, they use what we call peer review mechanism. So before, ahead of this meeting, I tried to check Google Scholar to look at scientific papers on quadratic voting, and I saw quite a few on them. So you realize that it's something that they subjected to peer review research before they kind of introduce it to the blockchain. So all of us, we can look at it. We can go to Google Scholar, look at quadratic voting on the blockchain. We will have a lot of scientific papers, and you can read some that really speak on quadratic voting. You see how best it really brings about better representation when it comes to quadratic voting, so that some people submit proposals, their proposals are left out and whatnot. But maybe if the quadratic voting comes in, the mechanism may work in a way that it can come to your favor, because of how proportionally it kind of try to represent everybody, and not allowing just small group of people who have more ADA to dominate the voting. So that is why the quadratic voting is coming in. And then with the liquid democracy bit is the opportunity to allow individuals with ADA to delegate their ADAs, so that it will be those ADA that you delegate to, whether it will be delegated to a D rep or maybe a catalyst rep or something, that one will intend to vote on your behalf. Okay. And you can also look at features of liquid democracy. You can take your delegation back if maybe where you have delegated to, they are not voting on proposals that you like to win. You can take your delegation back. That's what makes it liquid democracy. So that concept is very beautiful. It's not like our hard brick and mortar democracy, where you have to wait for about 4 years before you can vote for the next president, or you vote on a next member of parliament. But with a liquid democracy, once you can just take it back at any time. no strings attached. So that is the way the liquid democracy concept works.
Thank you very much. I mean, this is an open discussion. If you have anything about, now we've moved from the governance to Project Catalyst. So if you have anything to share about Project Catalyst, I mean, it's an open floor, you can share it.
Yeah, and I must say that those whose monies have delayed, the community reviewers that their monies have delayed, some of you have not created a ticket. So it means that means you have not complained that your money has delayed. So you need to complain that your money has delayed, and the Catalyst email is there. You write to them and talk about your money being delayed. You add your Project Catalyst ID. You add your ID, and that's the unique ID that you use to work as a reviewer. And then once you send that email, then it means a ticket has been created for you. And in your subsequent replies, reply on that email so that it will become like a trail of emails, okay, or a trail of replies. If every reply you create a new email, you create a problem for yourself that the team that is working to assist you will not be able to trace where your problem started and where they are trying to resolve it up to. It's very important that you reply on the same email so that you create a trail of reply, and then your issue will be taken care of. Okay, it's very important. For some that have created the email and then you have been replied, but you have not gotten back to them. Some of you, maybe you have created, after they replied, you've not also got to check the reply to even reply back. And so like Emmanuel shared, if you reply and they ask you for the document for the proof, they want you to take a picture of the documents and then you send it to them. And when your picture must show the 4 edges of the document so that they get to know that you are really a human being and that is taking this document, this picture. As for some of us, okay, so they've shared even the platform that you can create that is the Zendex.com. Yes, the Zendex.com is also another it's a platform that you can use to create your ticket quickly, and then you can report on everything that one you'll be replied quickly, and things will proceed from there. So please create your ticket because the team is waiting on your ticket. What they don't want is creating multiple tickets. If you create one ticket and they have not replied, relax, they will reply you. Okay, relax, they'll reply. But if you create multiple tickets, you create a delay for your own self. And please, if you have done the work and your sheet, the reward associated to your project ID, the community is willing to give it back to you. So just do the necessary thing and get yourself verified. And I'm sure once that is done, we can progress from here. I believe we won't fault the Project Catalyst team so much because we've come a long way, and most of us have also contributed to the problem by creating multiple accounts, 5 accounts and whatnot, which we were told to desist from. So that's the only way we can be sure that indeed it's one human being that is behind one account. So please, let's bear with them and let us all do our maximum best to contribute to the Cardano blockchain, because as blockchain entrepreneurs, we are needed, and so let us not give up. Okay, all the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nat, for this contribution, because we are talking about ADA here. So people are really hot. So yeah, so if there are no questions, I won't take much of your time. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our speakers, Nathaniel, and our guest speaker, Emmanuel Titi, for joining us. I would like to also thank everyone who joined, both on Zoom and on X and on YouTube. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate you joining, and just know that this is our second meeting. Our first one was the launch. This is the second one. And know that every 2 weeks we meet here. So we'll be sending you links. We'll be sending you the registration links to register and to join to discuss the Cardano Governance Forum. On this note, I would like departing words from our speakers, Nat and Emmanuel.
Okay, I'll just say that follow us as well on Twitter. If you have not followed us, please follow us so that more updates can because we share everything on our Twitter. It's at 8block. underscore INST. So I'm writing that 8block underscore INST. So 8block Institutes for short. So 8block INST underscore INST. You can follow us on Twitter and then keep the notification on so that when we make any update about the next Cardano governance forum, you can get to know of it and then join accordingly.
Thank you, Nat. Emmanuel, your departing words, please.
Oh yeah, so for me, I guess just to encourage anyone in the audience who wants to participate as a developer, we actually have less developers from Africa representing us in most of the spaces that I've been in. Most of the Africans there are either concerned heavily on the community building. I think WADA is one or the loudest of the African lot that I've heard from. So yeah, I'm just trying to encourage more developers to join the bandwagon, participate in most of these things because they're doable and there are very many opportunities, money-making opportunities, especially because we have a lot of people submitting proposals for the Catalyst funds. They need builders. And I think, yeah, there's a lot to be made for the African community. So if you're thinking about it, please feel free to reach out in Twitter. Let me see if I can paste the link here. We can talk about it. If you are a developer with a bit of experience, we can actually offer you apprenticeship in Lido Nation. So we usually pick up a few people just to try and onboard them as developers in Cardano. So if you think you might want such, I can, now that we've met here, I can make some connections to the co-founders of Lido and maybe help you join the team if they find that you're a good fit. So yeah, reach out to me if you need any guidance as a dev, and I'll do my best to help you and to help, of course, more Africans join the space. So I'm going to leave my in here. That is my profile on X. Reach out if you need to.
Sure. Thank you.
So
very
you can follow Emmanuel Titi.
Sure. Thank you, Emmanuel. Before we leave, can we all turn on our videos for just a quick shot? Can we please turn on our videos for a quick shot? Yeah. So, that's if you can take the.
Yeah, I'm working on that. I'm waiting for everybody to turn on their video so that
Yeah. So if,
take the shots. Please turn on your video. We are waiting for a couple of few people. First shot has been taken. If you're not part, try and join the second shot. I can see maybe some people too are driving, so they don't want to turn on their camera. But try and then just turn on your camera for us. Okay, thank you all for joining. That's fine. I think we got two. That's nice.
Sure. Thank you once again for joining. We appreciate you joining on Zoom and X and YouTube. We really appreciate you. Please put this in your calendar that the next 2 weeks, that's 30th of May, we'll be meeting at the same place, same time. Thank you very much.